So this season I've really started to try to get back into the game, and through a lot of hours of playing competitive, I've come across the players that I kind of forgot existed a lot, and some of the things that I honestly hope that would really go away in the new season. Now, of course, every single season with new report systems coming out, with new changes coming out, with everything hopefully coming out to help the game, I was hoping that these type of players would kind of start to disappear, but there's still a lot of them. They're still going to help your games a lot and hurt your games a lot, and of course those types of players are all the ones I put in the title of this: toxic players, trolls, smurfs, one tricks, and bad teammates that just don't really want to listen to you, and really just uncooperative teammates in general. And today I want to talk about how I personally kind of deal with these teammates. And I'm not really going to try to talk about how exactly you can win with these teammates, because the only way to really win with them is to hope that they're going to keep trying at least a decent amount, you pop off, or the rest of your team would pop off. And of course, just don't tilt yourself and just keep playing the best yourself. That's really all I can say there. But other than, you know, just trying your best, how can you deal with these players, and how can you really just not get yourself to a very tilted state where you just don't even want to play the game anymore? Because I've gotten to that state quite a few times during the past few weeks, and today I want to talk about how I've been kind of staying out of it. And the number one thing I want to say about how to keep yourself out of the state of being really tilted and just pissed off at the game from all these random stupid players that you're getting, is to talk with a lot of your teammates and to kind of share, I guess, the rage with your teammates. Oftentimes there's one person on your team that's just, you know, doing something, and I don't really know what the situation is. It could be anything. Leave it down in the comment section down below with the stupidest thing you've seen happen. But oftentimes there's something going on, and a lot of their teammates are probably getting a little bit tilted. But what I often do is just talk in team chat and say, hey, this guy's kind of dumb, whatever. Let's just keep playing team, and let's just keep trying our best. And yeah, of course, I always have, you know, symmetries on offense. You know, sometimes it happens, sometimes they can win, sometimes they can lose. Whatever, guys. You know, this is gonna hurt us, and maybe they'll respond with, yeah, this is annoying. I don't really like this. But, you know, you're right, maybe we still have a chance. And by simply talking it through with your teammates, I don't feel like it often increases your chance of winning. Well, it does a little bit. I think, moreover, it just makes so you can be a little bit less tilted. Because, I mean, even if you lose that game, at least you have somebody on your team that you know as well was very disappointed by your other teammates' play, and you know that you have somebody on your team as well that feels the same way as you. And I know that that can't fix the SR that you're going to be losing. That's not going to go away. But I mean, the tilt can go away. And oftentimes, if you get in a game in the future with the players that you kind of sympathized with, you're going to have really positive relationships with them. And as well, a lot of the times, if you are, you know, making a good relationship with these people, even during a tilted game, sometimes they'll actually add you back, even if you lose that game. And I feel like that's the only time I've actually had people ever add me back, is just talking to them during times where we're both just kind of, you know, hitting under our legs. You know, we're down on the ground talking to each other, and that can be kind of nice. Now, other than that, I guess, I want to talk about exact certain types of players in the thumbnail, or I guess in the title, that I feel like you can do certain things to kind of alleviate a little bit of the pain versus these players. Now, first off, when you're playing with just a bad player on your team, there's not much you can do, and there's not much you should really say. If someone's still trying their best, if they aren't inting, but if they're just not really doing that much, I mean, I guess you could ask for them to switch off. But other than that, you should really just focus on yourself and hope that you can kind of carry that game. I wouldn't rage at this player. They're just trying their best. They're just hoping to win the game. And even though they might suck, hopefully they're going to fall down in elo quick enough that you won't have to see them again. And as well, I'd probably just wouldn't play a game after the game with this player, because you don't want to see them again. And that's kind of with all these different types of players. Don't play 2 games in a row if you just had a troll, because you might just see him again, and that's not what you want to see. Now, with one tricks, it's in a kind of similar situation with this. A lot of the one tricks are trying their best. They still want to win, and a lot of the times they are winning. A lot of one tricks actually have a very good win rate, and you should keep that in mind. A lot of them are really good with this character, and what you should be trying to do is trying to make them not get tilted, because a lot of the times your teammates will just harass them, and if you can stop your teammates and stop the one tricks from getting tilted, you have a high chance of winning, actually. But B, to just pick a character that can kind of work with this one trick type character. Let's say you're playing support and there's a one trick Symmetra on your team, and you can pick between all the other supports, as you are the other support pick. You should probably pick Mercy, and maybe if she switches, you can switch to someone else later, but if she doesn't, you know, just stay as that character. Just try to make the situation for the one trick, I guess, the best as possible, as that increases your own situation to the best levels as possible. Now, if you get more than one trick at the same time, you know, just ask them, hey guys, pop off, try your best, let's go in here and try to make shot calls. Yeah, that's all you can really do there as well. It's not the best situation, but I mean, you can try your best, and That's all you can really say about a lot of these situations. Now, in Season 8, another thing that I've seen a lot, though, another type of player that's been showing up a lot, is Smurf players. And I know that Smurfs have existed for a long time, but I thought that they were mostly in Gold and Platinum and those types of ranks. There's been a lot of Smurfs in Diamond lately, like a huge amount of Smurfs. And, you know, it's like Widowmakers with 20 to 30% headshot accuracy, even 40% sometimes, just ridiculously good players for these ranks. And I think it's because the way that the top of the ranks working right now, for some reason a lot of players are just getting boosted downwards, so they kind of give up and then they go to Smurf and play their best from there. Against a lot of these Smurf players, what I'm going to tell you guys to do is to try to get a nice dive comp versus them, especially if they're like a McCree or a Widowmaker. Against other Smurfs, it's going to be kind of harder, and you just have to try to hope that your team can outplay the enemy team with your DPS and hope that it works out well. But if they have a good sniper type player, which I've seen most often with Smurfs, and a good hit scan, try to dive them, and that can really mitigate a lot of their good that they're going to be able to do. Especially if you personally can play Diva, even half okay, you can shut down a Smurf by yourself. Now, maybe you won't be able to kill the Smurf that much, and maybe your other teammates will still have to do okay, but that's still something that you can do. And I would say, yeah, pick up Diva, pick up somebody like that, and just try to dive in and hope that you can stop them. As well, though, just kind of dealing with Smurfs, just realize that the enemy team will get a lot of Smurfs. You're probably going to as well, get a lot of Smurfs. And just with matchmaking in general, realize that it is going to be random. Sometimes you might get quite a few Smurfs in a row, and that's good for you. I mean, you're going to rank up real quick when you get like 5 Tracer Smurfs that were Grandmaster in a row. But as well, sometimes you are going to get players that, you know, are smurfing on the enemy team and are just headshotting you every time you walk out of Temple of Anubis' Mercy. That could happen too. I don't know example, but I mean, that could happen. Let's just say. And you just kind of have to deal with that as well. It's not something that I wish would happen way too much, and I wish that they could be banned, but it's really hard for Blizzard to ban these just players, and I think that's something you have to kind of keep in mind. How does Blizzard tell the difference between a Smurf and a player just really popping off that game? Now, I think the way that they could kind of do this is by looking at their long-term stats and see if they just dramatically improve by like 90% in one day. That should be a pretty easy indicator. But in other cases, if they've just been slowly improving, or if the system just can't really tell, it's kind of hard for Blizzard, and that's something that I think it's one of the hardest things for them to fix out, and you just kind of have to deal with the Smurfs, and just, again, don't play a game after you lose to a Smurf, because there still is a chance that you might be placed with them, but there's also a chance you might be placed against them. Now, for Trolls, this is a thing where there is no solution as far as actual, you know, playing the game. You can report them and hope that they get reported and that they can't get banned. Personally, I've never seen someone that I've reported ever get banned, so that's unfortunate for me, but maybe it's happened to you guys. Against Trolls, though, just try to play the game and try to practice whatever hero you want to, or practice whatever strategy you want to. Don't try hard way too much, as you've pretty much lost that game. Still do try. I mean, if the round's going okay, and if like you're doing okay with the 5v6, still try to win, because sometimes the Trolls will, for no reason, just start playing again. That happens a lot of the time. But don't be afraid to just try out something new, and don't be afraid to try out something that you haven't seen way too much before. And don't worry way too much about your win rate from doing that. With a lot of these troll players, they will hopefully eventually get banned. I haven't seen way too much of it myself, though, but that's all you can really do against these players, is just, I guess, try to deal with them. And I wish that there was a better solution. With all these players, I wish there was a better solution. In Season 8, I was hoping that there would be something more, but banning them is kind of all you have to do. And one thing you have to remember to do, though, every single game, and one thing that I really ask for you guys to do every game, is to please actually report these troll players and all these different types of players, as they are just hurting the game. And if you don't report them, nothing's gonna happen. People are, I mean, I guess the Overwatch team's just gonna be like, hey, that was just a loss for this player, whatever, unless you report them, and unless you ask in voice chat or just typing for everybody to report this player for the exact reason. And finally, we have toxic players, which kind of does also connect to trolls. Oftentimes it goes from one to the other, but just because someone's being toxic, it doesn't mean that they're trolling. A lot of the times people just get too into the game, and they get really pissed off when you do a mistake. They get really pissed off when your teammate makes a mistake, and they get really pissed off when you don't get the point on your first push. That's just kind of how it works with a lot of players. Even if, you know, you aren't dead after failing the first push, a lot of people just don't really want to keep going. So how you can deal with these players is by first kind of calming their ego and being like, hey, you have some pretty good stats, maybe you can pop off on the next point. I think you could do pretty well. That's honestly probably like one of the #1 things that gets these players back into the game. And I guess when you're playing with toxic players, which are hard to ban because they aren't really trolling, and if they aren't super toxic, it's kind of hard to say that Blizzard should be banning them. Just try your best to get them back into the mood of playing the game, and for yourself, just try to ignore anything that they're really saying, because obviously they're not in a good state of mind, and obviously they aren't somebody that you really should be listening to anyway, so you should just completely disregard their opinion for the most part and just listen to all your other teammates that are talking a little bit more sane. But anyways, that's all I'm really going to say about this kind of topic. These players I do wish would go away, but they haven't really quite yet. But, you know, whatever. Maybe we'll see them eventually go away. And if you have any of your own ideas that you feel like could actually help with these players, to either help, I guess, ban some of them, or as well to deal with a lot of them, please leave that down in the comment section down below, because personally I like to use quite a bit of that myself, because yeah, I have been seeing quite a bit of these players, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have been as well. Anyways, as always guys, thank you all for watching, hope you enjoyed, and as always, have a wonderful day.